Hi guys. Welcome to the stream. In today's stream, we're going to basically talk about what happened in this past week. It was a great week for everyone who holds Bitcoin or even other altcoins specifically, because for Bitcoin's case, it didn't go up that much. It was basically in consolidation mode, and nothing much happened. But if you want to look at other altcoins such as Ethereum, Ripple did some good gains, Dosh Coin as well. We're going to see that it was a great week for everyone. Despite the week previously, before that, everyone was crying and it was panic mode and everyone thought that they should sell everything. But in our last live stream, we spoke about how we have to always know where to get out of the market versus just panic and not know what's going to happen or what our plan is. Okay, so let's start the stream. First thing, what we're going to do is basically talk about several things. The first thing is the crypto market as a whole. Okay. The second thing is we're going to start by the top 5, which is Bitcoin, and then we're going to go through Ethereum, and we're going to compare Ethereum to its hard fork, which is Ethereum Classic. And we're going to talk about that because today I published an article talking about the difference between Ethereum and Ethereum Classic and why Ethereum Classic made more than 300% gains in the last 7 days, sorry. 7 weeks, that's too much. Okay, so here we go. Let's share my screen. Okay. Very good. So as usual, I always start by looking at the website called CoinMarketCaps, where basically it's an aggregator of all the projects. That's like all the coins and all the tokens and everything that's happening. It's a very good source, by the way, if we want to basically capture the whole picture of the cryptocurrency market as a whole, or go in specifics in each project. And we spoke about how it can be beneficial for us to look into those kind of details. So at the first glance, let's talk about how we can basically assess the cryptocurrency market. At a first glance, what I can see here is that the global cryptocurrency market cap, the market cap that is at 2.4 trillion. So when the crash happened, it fell from 2.1 trillion all the way to 1.8. And then it went back up to today's market value, which is $2.42 trillion. Okay, that's a very healthy uptrend. Okay, and if we go in specifics and look at the charts later on, we're going to see that the market is steadily growing, but mostly not through Bitcoin like it used to do before. And we're going to talk about Bitcoin's dominance in the market, but this time it's thanks to altcoins. And that's why most people call it altcoin season. Okay, so let's start with Bitcoin. I can see that the price is sitting at 57,700 almost dollars. Its market cap is around 1 trillion, which is basically half of all the market. Less than half technically, and because if I look at the BTC dominance, which is basically how much Bitcoins are the value of the total cryptocurrency market, it's exactly 44.8%. It's still huge, but at the same time, comparing to what it was before, it was sitting at around 65%, and not a long time ago as well. It happened basically. Let's think. That was maybe all the way through to 2020. It was sitting at around 65%, and now it dropped all the way to 44%. And this is a strong indicator of other projects breaking through, making huge gains versus Bitcoin that is consolidating at the current time. Okay, so at the first glance, this is what's happening with Bitcoin, and we have Ethereum that made it made 30%, but adjusted now to 29.8%. But it made almost 30% before in the last week. and it grew from a price of 3,000 when it first broke that price area. And this is a very important price, by the way. So if prices are going to fall, this is a very strong support area to the 3,000 or the 2,900 if you want to get your stop losses target. But if you are a long-time investor, you can lower your stop loss in order not to get thrown out of the market. Okay, we have Binance Coin that's basically almost also consolidating. If we look at the last 7 days, this is the start, this is the end of the 7 days period. Not that much growth I can see here. Dosh Coin, on the contrary, almost doubled in the past week, making 95% gains. And many traders are basically waiting for this important event that's going to happen tomorrow at the SNL event, where Elon Musk is going to host this show. And it's a very big show, and most traders already bought. And I think that it's going to be a very volatile week for Dogecoin, especially after the SNL show is going to be aired. But we have to be careful. When the price hits $1, I think many people who already made gains on Dogecoin, they're going to dump all their tokens in order to cash out their gains. And this is going to make a very steep fall for the prices. We have XRP token that mainly is also in consolidation mode. In the past week, I'm talking because yesterday prices went all the way up to 1.7, and today it's sitting at $1.6. And yeah, that's for the top 5. Okay, but now let me talk about something very important, which is Ethereum Classic. Okay, today I wrote an article talking about Ethereum Classic, and I would like to share that with you guys because it's very important to understand the difference between what is Ethereum and what is Ethereum Classic. Because many people are just, when we usually talk about Ethereum, and this is the article here, it went up by 300%, and the clickbaity question, as always, should you buy? And let's see if you should buy. So I started the article talking about Ethereum, how everyone, when they talk about Ether, did you buy Ether? Do you hold Ether? Do you use the Ethereum blockchain? We most certainly are talking about the main Ethereum blockchain, not the hard fork that happened, which is Ethereum Classic. Now let's talk about it. Back in 2016, in July, there was a hack in the blockchain system of Ethereum. Okay, it was basically a 51% attack that managed to change the blockchain. Okay, all the data that are recorded on the blockchain, a hacker managed to change that, and that was written basically around here. It suffered its biggest hack. They resulted in the theft of 3.6 million ethers. Okay, so after this event, what happened? The developers were split into two. The community of the Ethereum sphere, they were divided between two sections. The people who agreed to roll back, and when you roll back, all the data that was put from this hack will be rolled back, so they will not be in existence, while the other part decided not to roll back, just solely because for them, blockchain is a decentralized space, and anything that happens in it should stay decentralized. There shouldn't be one main authority that controls it and decides that, hey, let's roll back, and like this never happens. Now, of course, this is like, there's nothing like black or white. It's a gray area where people would support and people would reject this idea. So what happened is there was a hard fork on the system, and Ethereum Classic came into existence, where those people are the ones who decided not to do the rollback. Okay, they decided to stay despite this hack. Okay, and they said that no, we don't want any interruption. The system will over time will get stronger, and this type of hack will not happen anymore. So this is where Ethereum Classic stands at, while the original Ethereum project was rolled out and continued. Now, is Ethereum Classic risky? In this part, I speak about how this is, like I said, despite its proof of work mechanism that we spoke about, to secure the blockchain, Ethereum Classic is still a minority, right? It is a very prone project for again to happen, the 51% attack. And in fact, the most recent one happened in 2020 when a hacker managed to alter transactions on the chain. Now, is it a good investment? Sure, if you already bought before, but I think so far it's a bit too late, because if we look right here at the graph, Ethereum was consolidating for a very long period of time, by the way, and didn't go up with the whole market all until recently in the beginning, in the mid-April, where it broke from the $20 price point and just boomed all the way to $140 today's price. The market cap of Ethereum Classic is a mere 16 billion, where the Ethereum blockchain, okay, sits at around 400 billion. That's almost half a trillion, almost half of Bitcoin's blockchain. So maybe there is room for maybe if you feel like, hey, I want to partake in a project where I want to make some gains solely from capital gains, yeah, why not? But not right now. You shouldn't buy Ethereum Classic at this price, because it is very inflated right now, and an adjustment is retracement is soon to happen. And I even plotted the Fibonacci Retracement analysis tool, which showed an area, a strong retracement area of around $90. Okay, and that was my article about Ethereum and the Ethereum Classic. Although it did do 300% in 7 days, buying right now is not advisable. Okay, guys. Now, hey, Michelle, I just saw them. How are you, man? Okay, now let's talk about the other coins. Now, let's see Bitcoin, how it performed and how the consolidation happened. I basically use TradingView as a charting tool. And this is Mario here. Where's Mario? Hey, Mario. Hey, Royd. Royd on steroid. That's a cool name, man. Okay, so let me go to Bitcoin, BTC, USD, and see how the charts pile up with this consolidation. Now, we spoke about how Bitcoin was consolidating for this past week. Now let's see it in action on a chart. Let me go to the full feature charts, and this is where I draw basically my analysis tools. Guys, by the way, if anyone has any question regarding any coin or any blockchain concept, please feel free to put your questions down below in the comment section. Okay. Okay, perfect. So this is Bitcoin's chart. I can clearly see that this is an uptrend. Okay, like Bitcoin is still on an uptrend, but did it regress over time? Like, can I say that the price momentum is fading? Yeah, sure, definitely. Why? Because back in mid-April, there was a huge price retracement, and I spoke about how prices will still be on an uptrend, but it will be a slower momentum right here. That was in mid-April, around 2022, where prices managed to break through the lower uptrend line. And back then, the market dropped by like 15%, and everyone panicked, and everyone started to think like, hey, should I get out of my positions? Should I stop buying? Whereas it was a very good entry point, by the way, for anyone who wanted to get into the cryptocurrency market. If I plot here the strong support line for Bitcoin, which is basically around the $50,000, it's a psychological area. So because we as humans, we tend to look at easy numbers, okay? If I look at 50,000, for me, it is an important number, right? If it is an important number for you, definitely it would be an important number for other investors and other traders. And whenever everyone starts to follow the same trend, this is how price action happens. This is what we call technical analysis. I just see past price actions and how patterns can repeat themselves again in the future. It's definitely not saying that, hey, this is an uptrend, this is a downtrend, I should do this, I must do that. It's more about trying to make an educated guess and try to make sense of the market overall. Okay, so if I look here, that was an important area right here, around the 50,000. It break through, and then it went back downwards, and then back upwards, and then back down. It was an uptrend, and then it broke it right here. Right now, it's definitely not a downtrend. It's just a consolidation area delimited by, let's see where it is delimited. Personally, I wouldn't take those stops. Those are a bit out. I would take more around the 60,000. If you notice that it coincides with the psychological price area as well. It did a fake out around here, but then back to 55, and then all the way back to 50, and then it faked out at 63, but went back down to this important area previously that it occurred before. So now what's the trend right here? What can I say? If I want to enter the market right now, I can say that I don't think it's a good spot to enter right here. I prefer to wait for a solid breakout right here without prices dipping below the 60,000 for an extended period of time. So I'm looking at the 1-day chart. So let's say here it only broke out for like 2 days, and here it did like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is like less than a week. So let's say if prices stay around above Heimanschlag, if prices stayed above 60,000 for like a good week, I think this is a good entry price with a stop loss around 58,000 or 59,000. Okay, this is for Bitcoin. Now let's move to Ether. Okay, let's go to the chart of Ethereum. Ethereum is basically the blockchain. And I think this Ethereum's blockchain is very important because soon there's the EIP 1559, which is an improvement on Ethereum's blockchain. And it's going to take effect around this period of time in June. And many developers are going to see if they're going to stick with the plans, or basically, I don't know what might happen, honestly, if they're going to do all the changes that they spoke about or not. But in anticipation of this big event, I can see like the uptrend here like was rallying in a very smooth way before. Okay, but suddenly prices just jumped. And I will say why, basically. Whenever any psychological price gets passed or breaked, okay, prices, this event basically attracts all the traders, not investors, all the traders who are anticipating a strong momentum in prices. And everyone was talking. If you go to Google Trends, which I'm going to do in a few seconds, if you go to Google Trends, you will see how Ethereum's trend on the Google searches like boomed way high. Okay, and this basically event made, we can notice this way higher uptrend than the average uptrend momentum. It just basically shot way high. Okay, now is it a good time to enter Ethereum? If we look at the trend right here, I would say definitely not right now, because again, whenever there's a huge uptrend, usually even in the stock market, by the way, because I'm and I'm an equity trader as well and portfolio manager. Whenever there's a huge surge in prices, even if prices continued to go up, you shouldn't say, I should have bought, why didn't I buy, and get into this mentality. It's fine, like, yeah, it is a calculated risk for you. It's better not to lose than to win a bit, okay? So in this case, around the 3,500, there was no real resistance. So my next move would definitely be an adjustment. Okay, now where this adjustment might lead, it might lead around this average. I'm talking about an average upper line of the uptrend. Okay, this is a significant, like an important area for Ethereum to enter, and it might do this move. And I think even if I want to approve this, I can go and plot the Fibonacci retracement, and I can start that definitely where prices started to boom. To, let's say, to go through from like to transform from the older uptrend line to the new one here, where you can see like significant price action. And this is basically from the beginning of this year, where all the cryptocurrencies in the market decided to suddenly jump in prices. So I will go to the Fibonacci retracement, which is basically around here. Here we go. And this is where our prices are today. It's basically around an all-time high. So prices are most definitely going to retrace. For me personally, I would definitely be on the lookout for the 38.2% price area. Now, this one is a bit too extreme, right? I wouldn't place a buy order around here or expect Ethereum prices to tank this much. I would most probably put my buy order around. And if you notice, it coincides with, again, what? The psychological price area. It does coincide with this one. So definitely I would place my buy order around this price, and it gives me confidence. And if I want to get out of the market, I can simply place a stop loss around here, which is the 2,700. Okay, if prices reach here, I can buy. If prices continue their downtrend, I would definitely close my position and wait for a better price, not because I just want to get away from Ether, but just to get a better price right here, for example, which is the 38.2. And then I would definitely buy all the way to, because I also published an article talking about how Ethereum, of course, on the long term, I'm not one of those hype people that shoots all the prices upwards. Like, for example, Ether will reach 100K, which is a bit too far off if we want to calculate the whole market capitalization, for example, because already it is around $500 billion, 400 billion for now. Okay, this is for Ethereum. Now, if I want to just jump too quickly for Ethereum Classic to compare the hard fork of Ether with like ETH with ETC. And this is ETC prices are from Kraken. Here we go. This is where like a beautiful pump in the price of ETC. Okay. Now let's explain why this happened. If we noticed for Bitcoin and for Ethereum, specifically Ether, and for other altcoins, all the cryptocurrency markets started to boom around this area here in Jan 21. And even it started way before, like when the COVID started back in 2020, in March 2020, and the stock market fell and the cryptocurrency also fell. Prices tanked, and then they started on their uptrend ever since. If I want to take specifically Ethereum Classic's ETC's price action, it will be way different. It is an extended consolidation in prices. Prices were basically between $4 and $7 all the way till 2021, which doesn't make sense, right? Since Ethereum Classic follows Ethereum. It's basically the same blockchain, but one got rolled out and the other just continued without rolling out the data that happened on its blockchain. And now, of course, in the beginning, we might say that it is not very secure and it is prone to 51% attacks. But as the blockchain and as the system continues to live on, the system will become stronger. More miners will be maintaining the system, the blockchain per se. More transactions will happen, and you would need way more computing power in order to alter the system. But in the beginning, of course, it is doable. So if I just look at what happened in February, okay, and by the way, Ethereum, the main network, started to pump around this the same time, by the way, and prices started to go way up, and prices moved from $4 to $5 to $6, and it made its first up to around $19, and then it retraced, and then it went back up to $37, and then retraced. And then as soon as talks about June, the EIP 1559 happened, prices boomed all the way. And this happened in tandem with Ethereum, by the way, with ETH. Now, ETH didn't make 300% in 7 days, but we can see that it made a lot, by the way, like around 20% Ethereum. This one made, let's see here, price range. And let's put it not from here. Let's put it from somewhere where like $30 was fine. Here we go. It made around 400% in 7 days and then retraced back to around 300%, which is crazy. like basically tripled. If you invested $10,000, you would have made like 30,000. And this is for Ethereum Classic. Let's go and see Dosh Coin, just because there's an important event tomorrow, which is the SNL, as we spoke before. Doge. By the way, if anyone has any suggestion or any question regarding any coin, please put them in the comment section. I'm going to tackle that. And by the way, later on, I'm going to guest a special friend who is into cryptocurrencies as well. And he's going to join us in like 5 minutes, just so he gets his gear up. And by the way, for people who watched our last stream, this is basically Chris, who's going to introduce himself in like 5 minutes, let's say. Maybe after I finish Dosh Coin, he can join us and we can talk more about the cryptocurrency market and what's hot and what's not. Okay, let's check Bittrex, Dosh Coin on Bittrex. Here we go. Yeah, this is basically it. So we had 3 phases for Dogecoin. Okay, well, prices were around 0.006 or 7, and later the first pump happened when prices reached the 1 cent area, and this is where everyone started to like all the attention started to garner around Dogecoin. By the way, Elon Musk started to tweet around. This is like the first one in Jan, at the beginning of the year. And then again, he started to tweet even more about Dogecoin, and then consolidation mode for an extended period. And this went in tandem with the whole cryptocurrency market, by the way. And by the way, if we plot all the cryptocurrencies together, you would see a great similarity in prices. Now, John is saying that Doge is a scam. This is a good theory, by the way. Many people, like you always have 2 people, right? You have the people who supports that. Okay, those people who support Dogecoin, they talk about not how this is a meme coin and how people are pumping it only, but they talk about the potential behind it. Okay, first, it is a decentralized token. Okay, it is used. They're talking about how people can use it on online forums. Okay, in order to tip content creators, right? So if someone, for example, posted something very funny or whatever, you can tip them, or you can, instead of upvoting, you can just send Doge coins. And the more Doge coins you receive, the more importance on the sorting of the content, the rating you will go. And yeah, I think if you're thinking about this approach, maybe it might have some value, but maybe today's value is a bit too much and pumped only because Elon Musk and other famous people are just taking a laugh at legacy markets or legacy finance. Whenever I say legacy finance, by the way, for if you don't know, when I say legacy, it's basically everything that came before this project. So legacy finance goes back to traditional finance, which is banks, financial institutions, Wall Street, mainly. Okay, so Dogecoin, this is like the second one. It went from 1 cent all the way up to 40 cents, and then retraced back to around 20. Here we go, 25. And then at today's price, it almost reached 70 cents, but adjusted back to 60. So this is where we are today. I anticipated a higher, harsher adjustment in prices all the way back to 55 maybe, but I think the SNL will help this push all the way. Some people are talking of Dogecoin reaching $1, but I think this is a bit too far-fetched. If this happened, this would be, I don't know, like a great experience for everyone watching, how people can manipulate prices. Like the same thing that happened with what's it called, like the stock markets, Robinhood, when they blocked for the GameStop company because people were were buying, whereas short sellers were trying to bring the stock price downwards. Okay, and that's it for basically Dogecoin. Before I continue with other cryptocurrencies, I think I'm going to discuss that with my good friend who's going to come back. His name is Chris, and he's an IT expert, and he's an expert in cyber security. And I'll let him introduce himself, and let's say hello to our good friend Chris. Chris, you're alive, man.
Hello, how are you guys?
Good. What about you? Yep, loud and clear.
Yes, thank you for this small introduction.
Let's start.
So my name is Christoph, and
yeah.
As you mentioned, I work in the IT space, everything that's related to IT infrastructure, and mainly we're focusing now a bit on digitalization. Yeah, as I mentioned last time, I went into crypto because I think to have at least 2 streams, and after our talk to get into crypto. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. I think diversifying your earnings and your incomes, as you said, is very important.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, now your connection went back. I think you had a weak signal before, but now it's very good. As you said, we managed to hear you at the end where you basically spoke about having multiple streams of income. No one can rely only on one income, and you should always diversify. You cannot have a sum of money sitting in the bank doing nothing or getting paid barely like an interest or 2 to 3 to 4%, for example, on a yearly basis. Okay, I think what should happen basically is diversifying your portfolio and get into investing, but definitely you have to be very careful and you have to be knowledgeable into what you're getting into. Okay, you can never decide to pick something like just because it's a buzz or whatever. Okay, if you really want to invest, I would advise to basically make your own analysis, make your own research, and always follow up with what you bought. Right, you cannot buy something without following up with it. And here we go. This is Chris again. I think there was an issue with your connection, but I think now it's getting better. If you can hear me, let me know. I think there's a small delay between me and Chris. Yes, we can hear you now, but your network connection, I think, is very low. It's red, and yeah, we can really see that. Now, until it becomes better, it's fine. Maybe I can finish up Dosh Coin. Meanwhile, okay, let me just try to share my screen back. I think it's better now. Chris, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, perfect. Maybe let me try to maybe restart your video, because your video dropped, or maybe it's better without video. I'm not sure. How's your connection going? Here we go. We can see you.
It seems to be fine.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. So as we were discussing, I wanted to ask you a few questions.
Let's go.
Do you think that like Dogecoin is affecting the whole market? Because it seems Dogecoin goes up, all the market and all the other coins seem to be trending downwards. So I think there's like a kind of shift in the investment people where they are maybe switching from other coins to Dogecoin, which is doing this imbalance?
Yes, it's a really great question, honestly, and most people fail to look at a macro level at what's happening with cryptocurrencies. By the way, this is a really good point, and we should always look at the behavior and the overall market. Now, as you said, Chris, let me try to share my other screen here, and go back to CoinMarketCap where I can see like the overall market. Okay, I can see that mostly in the past day, this is like the 24 hours, it's basically consolidating. And if I look at Bitcoin, its dominance dropped a lot, right, Chris? But at the same time, if I want to look at the past 7 days, okay, we barely have like in the top 10, like 3 to 4 projects, or not. We have many projects that made significant gains, but at the same time, it might be at the expense of first Bitcoin, because its dominance dropped heavily and they basically dropped Bitcoin to buy altcoins. This is one. Two, Ethereum made significant changes in the past 7 days in its price. Dosh Coin, though, doubled. And if we look at its market cap, it's close to 80 billion. 80 billion is a lot. And what made this 80 billion price market valuation? It's basically, of course, its price per coin and how many people bought, right? So 80 billion, where did this number come from? I think if we look at the past, the top losers in the market, if I can see maybe tokens that significantly lost, I might say that, hey, people are switching away from this one and going to others. But let's try to calculate in this first page. If I just go back to market cap, because I want to see the numbers here. This page contains around 100 coins, okay? And if I just filter out the 24 ones in the past 24 hours, the biggest losers in the past day, they amount almost, I don't want to take into account the minus 3%. It's basically barely like 10 to 20 coins that mostly lost. But if I go to the 7 days, the past week, let's try this one. Again, I barely see losers, by the way. So maybe some people managed to dump from each token, right? From each coin, they dumped a lot in order to get a hold of Dogecoin. And this one has 2 explanations. The first one basically going, because there's a big anticipation in the market for Dogecoin to go all the way to $1. Currently, it sits at 60 cents, right? And the second one, I'm not sure if you heard about it, Chris, it's because tomorrow there's a big event, which is the SNL show that Elon Musk is going to hold, and many people like rushed all the way to buy Dogecoins. I think this buy and hold and what's going to happen in those next 2 to 3 days is going to be hell in the market, and it's going to be very volatile, the prices, and it's a good. This is where traders enter. You should never trade. Day trade only on a consolidation market. You should always trade when you have high volatility. So tomorrow is a good day to trade if you want Dogecoin, but I expect if prices reach $1, it will tank soon after, because many people will cash out their profits. Yeah. So if you bought Dogecoin at 60 and it reaches $1.10, as soon as it starts to drop, you would definitely directly cash out your profits. Wouldn't you do that?
Discussing this with a lot of my friends, and they said that they will cash out around $1 or maybe a bit less, just in case the market drops heavily in the next few days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think especially if we're talking about Dogecoin, a coin that there's no real value or significance for it in real world application. We're only talking about tipping on communities and online bloggings or whatever. It's not something that you might use or go into a store and pay with or whatever exchange value.
It's a meme, actually.
Sorry?
It's a meme coin after all, so there is Musk just made it how to say, like, very famous in a way.
Agreed. Definitely, I agree. It's still a pump project from Elon, and I think what he's trying to do is just taking the piss out of financial institutions and big tech, having their valuation way less than Doge today. Like Doge has, like as we said, close to 80 billion.
Actually, I wanted also to discuss with you, why do you think that Ether, although we can see like that Bitcoin was kind of stable in a way, but Ether just went up crazy?
Exactly. And that was basically what happened because of the market dominance of Bitcoin in the price. So before we were talking about how Bitcoin made up almost 60 or even 70% of the whole cryptocurrency market. So if, for example, the overall cryptocurrency market capitalization is around 1 trillion, Bitcoin would have been, for example, 700 billion. Okay, that's around 70%. But today, it sits at 2.4 trillion, but Bitcoin's market cap is still 1 trillion. Okay, so this 400 billion that increased is not from Bitcoin, and it's basically from all altcoin. And that's why they always talk about altcoin season coming soon. And basically, this is what's happening today. We're witnessing altcoin season. And now, why, to go back to your question, by the way, Chris. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think that like people are not like they're kind of selling their Bitcoin because it have been stagnant for decided to invest in other Ethereum, which is also like the second most stable or known coin, and it has a lot of potential also.
That's a very good point, by the way. I didn't even mention this before. Basically, because Bitcoin reached a very high valuation, which is 1 trillion. Okay, that's more than most listed companies on the stock market, by the way. And the usage of Bitcoin is not picking up. Most people are just holding, and there's no transfer in value. Until recently, when Elon Musk, by the way, he sold Tesla, sold like most of its Bitcoin, part of its Bitcoin, and made like a lot of profit. That's like more than 1 year worth of revenue. And the price tanked all the way to 50, I remember. And Elon Musk tweeted that this is a good sign if I sell Bitcoin, if I manage to sell Bitcoin, and this proves liquidity. Right? Because if you don't have liquidity and you own it and you want to sell it, you will not be able to sell it instantly. And liquidity in the market is a very important thing, by the way. That's why if you look at CoinMarketCap, what does the volume column mean? It means how much people are buying and selling in the last 24 hours. So if you decided, for example, to sell, I'm going to give an example, like the volume now right here is 72 billion, right? Let's say you decided to sell 73 billion. You will be left with 1 billion order not fulfilled. Okay, and hence this is why we're talking about liquidity. But if you have, for example, you want to sell 70 billion, only 10 billion, you will instantly be able to sell it instantly. But if your order is more than the overall market, it will wait until other people come and post their sell prices. And this is what the volume means. How much people are buying and selling from each side. The bigger the volume is, the more liquidity you have in the project, and the faster you will be able to place your order. So that's why sometimes you see coins that boom like 1000%, but their volume is around barely less than 1 million. So if you come to sell, no one will buy from you, and you will be stuck with your coins. And that's why prices tank suddenly after, because people start to become very afraid of not being able to sell their holdings. So to go back to your saying, by the way, Chris, it's a really good point. Why did Bitcoin stay for the past 7 weeks? If I look, it's barely up by 1.5%. If I look here at the chart, it was here, and it's still almost here, barely by 2% it went up. While Ethereum went up by 30%, it's basically because in June we have an event which is the EIP 1559. This is where the improvement, EIP is like improvement, Ethereum improvement protocol, and the number of the protocol of the change is 1559, and it will basically enhance the way the fees are calculated on the blockchain. And this one is going to have, I think, in my opinion, it's going to enhance the system. Fees are going to be reduced. So today, if you want to send Ethereum on the blockchain, Ether, to someone else, you will pay very high fees. And with this adjustment, it will lower all the fees. But at the same time, you have those miners who benefit from high fees. Okay, so those miners are going to be pissed. So I'm not sure what's going to happen in the community. Is this really going to happen, or there will be like a split decision between the community? We're going to see. We're going to see. But most people are anticipating better prices, so better fees. So more people are going to use the blockchain, and hence the price increase.
Nice.
Makes sense?
Yeah, it all makes sense. Actually, also, I thought they were talking that the infinite supply of Ethereum is kind of actually a positive. So it's like buying oil or buying gold for Bitcoin, for example.
Exactly. You're talking about the circulating supply, right? So we know for crypto,
Exactly.
for most cryptocurrencies, it is split between those projects that are the tokens are already mined. Okay, like for example, I'm going to take XRP, the token XRP. All the tokens are already pre-mined by the company, by Ripple, and those the company sold most of the tokens on exchanges. Okay, and now currently the circulating supply is around 35 billion, whereas the total maximum supply, I think, is 100 billion. If I hover over here, here we go. 100 billion, the maximum supply. So the company, I think, holds around 50 billion, and the other remaining is still to be purchased by the community. And this, of course, will happen according to what happens with the lawsuits with the SEC, because this is a very important event. But other tokens at the same time don't have a limit, like Bitcoin, for example. Bitcoin is still in the mining process. Miners are still mining, but the maximum would be 21 million. Okay, now currently we are at 18.7, and we will reach this number, I think, in 2100, whatever. There's a number, but the increase would be very minimal in the market. Now, for Ethereum, it is a totally different process. The mining of Ethereum happens slowly. The supply of Ethereum slowly increases with time. The algorithm made for Ethereum is specifically made to increase. And this, by the way, will help in stabilizing the price. Okay? Because if you think about it, if Bitcoin is capped at 21 million, okay, what happens after the 21 million? If demand will continue to rise, prices will go maybe to 1 million. I'll give you an example, 1 million. Because currently we are sitting at almost 100K. So that times 10 will be 1 million valuation for one Bitcoin. But in contrast, for Ethereum, there's always going to be an increase in the system every few years, or I don't know, there's a formula for that in the algorithm, and the supply of Ethereum will increase over time. Now, what was your question specifically for the? I was talking about the supply, and I forgot what you were asking, by the way.
Yeah, actually, you kind of answered my my question regarding the mining and the pre-mined and the post-mined the mining that goes slowly for the coins. Actually, also, exactly. I had another question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think XRP will reach around $3 once the lawsuit will end?
Sure. Personally, I will talk from my personal belief, okay? Because many people hate XRP and they say it is a shit coin and don't buy this coin. It is a centralized project. Personally, I think that it is a good project, but certainly I would prefer that it wasn't centralized and there was no single entity behind it, simply because, it's prone to human error, right? So let's say the CEO decides to, I don't know, take a vacation and someone takes a picture of him, and it will be a fiasco in the market, right? And this is the same what happens in the stock market. Humans are prone to errors, and if the marketing team and the business development department in Ripple doesn't manage to get more deals with financial institutions, and they are not transparent with the regular public, because they were always saying that we have deals with many financial institutions that are going to use XRP, and we are still to see that today. Maybe the SEC lawsuit was a drawback for them, but if it ends and they continue to grow, hey, sure, definitely, I can see the price grow all the way back to $3, because that was an all-time high. And if you want to calculate if this is feasible, by the way, if I look at the prices of XRP, it's at 1.6 currently. So let's assume it was 1.5, just for the sake of numbers. If I want to double that, okay, you will reach $3, and doubling the price would mean I am doubling the market cap. Now, does it make sense to have a market cap of around 100 billion for XRP? I think yes. Why not? Because if you look at its competitor, which is Binance and Ethereum, and definitely Dosh Coin, which doesn't have any usage, for example, they are already kind of there, right? So yeah, $3 is achievable, but definitely not 5 or 10. Reaching only the all-time high might be feasible, but not right now. Maybe in a couple of months, or even by the end of the year. I don't think like suddenly the prices will shoot, unless there was development in the lawsuits. So if you want to buy XRP, let's do a quick analysis if you want for XRP, just to see if it's a good buy at current prices. And by the way, we have a question, by the way, from John. I'm going to answer that as well. I think he was asking about Ethereum. If you just can rephrase your question, because I can read like what will happen then, right? Are you asking about Ethereum, what will happen with the EIP 1559, or are you asking about what will happen with the circulating supply that always is going up? Meanwhile, I will open the chart for XRP. Okay. This is XRP. This is the 1 day. I prefer to, okay, let's start right here. The normal uptrend before April was basically, and this is, I think in April, this is where the SEC development started to happen. So we have a break around the 80 cents. This is a 70.65. This is the first one. Another one is at $1. This is a very important area, around the $1. Ah, perfect. I think I answered, John. Awesome. Okay. So for XRP, we have at $1, and then we have a very important area around 1.4, 1.3. Okay. By the way, I'm not sure if you follow me on how I place my important areas. It is all I see. Like this is basically technical analysis where I plot and I see previous price actions and what happened around this price area. If prices just continued upwards with no regards from traders or investors, it might be it might not be significant. Whereas if prices stall for like a day or two with no clear path, and then they continued on their way, it might be a very good important area. So I can see this is one. This is another one here. Okay, why is this always going up? This is another one here, and this is number 3, and this is number 4. Okay, I'm not going to do that, or I can do it quickly by copy paste. Did I copy? Okay. Now, so 4 times the prices rebounded from 1.4. Okay, currently we are at 1.6. This area here is not very advisable to buy for multiple reasons. The first one would be because the uptrend, if I want to look at it from here, from the $1, the previous uptrend, and I link them together, okay, I can see that prices might retrace a bit downwards around 1.5, but this area doesn't mean much for me. It is kind of a hard area to judge, and you should go with your gut feeling about that. But I will give you 2 scenarios, Chris. The first one would be buying at the current price, but I would definitely place a stop loss around 1.4. Okay. Another one is waiting for prices to adjust a bit for this upcoming period. Where's this? Here we go. Adjust a bit to all the way to 1.4, 1.5. Okay, but then maybe you can continue, prices can continue on their uptrend. Okay, so I think either you can buy right now but place a stop loss around 1.4, or it is advisable to wait for a bit of a confirmation in prices. But let's say prices break through to 1.6 and reaches 1.7 or 1.8. Don't worry, don't say that, hey shit, I missed this up here, because we want to look at the bigger picture, which is right around, anyways, it's way higher. It's right here, right? So we're talking about only this area. So you can just buy and say, hey, what the hell? I would place one here and place a stop loss around 1.4, okay? But just hold and wait for prices to go upwards, okay?
I bought already on the 1.22 margin, by the way.
1.22?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
That's perfect, man. That's really good.
Yeah.
So your stop
actually,
loss.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you, don't you think XRP is like the perfect merge between the current financial, like the typical financial state, and like the more into crypto or the more futuristic stuff like Bitcoin? This is why I decided to invest in it, because I think it's a very good transitional period that will eventually end up in a full crypto and decentralized manner.
I agree. I totally agree. That's why I'm not with those people who call it a shitcoin. I think it is a good project. And if you try to send before Bitcoin to someone, you will understand the frustration, because sending Bitcoins might take around between 40 minutes to 1 hour sometimes. And you're just waiting for the funds to arrive, and he's waiting for confirmations for him to receive the funds. Whereas if you want to sell Ripple today, it will take less than a minute. If you want to this is like night and day between usage of cryptocurrencies for payments, right? Because if you think about it today, Bitcoin is not purely about sending value, right? Or sending money, monetary value. It's more about holding. You can think about it as gold, for example. You're holding gold, right? But Ripple, it's instantaneous and very fast, and it is cheaper, by the way. Now, of course, there's a minimum to send, for example, and this is like banks do that as well. You will not send less than $20. Like
it's eventually a bit like a bank, and I think their backend can be used a lot in banks or other money transfer businesses, and I think it will excel in this specific department.
I hope so. I totally agree. But the main issue is if they have a strong business development team, but because if they don't, they will not be able to penetrate the market efficiently. Whereas if you look at other open source projects like Ethereum, for example, there are many developers nowadays. I'm not sure if anyone in our chat is a Solidity developer. Maybe you can, we can give you a shout out. Solidity basically is the language that you use to code on the Ethereum blockchain. And there's a lot of demand for Solidity developers nowadays in order to plug on this open source code, right? But if you want to go and use Ripple today, Ripple's technology, which is XRP, you will have to abide by their own rules and by their own regulations. So it is a company, and they will be reaching out to you, and you will plug to their system, and there are no clear APIs today available readily on any website. You will have to contact them, and if you're not in the States and you have regulation issues, so it's a bit hard to scale. That's the issue with Ripple. So it's a bit hard for me to correctly know that, hey, this is a good project and it will scale really fast. Of course, this is the dream if you hold XRP, but that's the only challenge if you want. You know, that's the difference between
both worlds, actually. A bank, but for
hopefully they will be able to
in a very simplistic manner.
Yeah, definitely. It is a really nice topic to talk, by the way, because I think most people fail to look at the bigger picture, and they just look at Ripple's charts. Hey, XRP, it's going up. It's only $1. This is how they think, but they fail to see that the market cap is around 40 to 50 billions, as we said. Like saying $1 is cheap The maximum would be like $3 to $4. Like this is a lot for this project. It will not. Most people think that hey, it's $1. It might become 50,000 like Bitcoins, which is ridiculous. And that's why we should spread awareness in the cryptocurrency market, and especially for those newcomers who don't know how to look into each project. I'm sure that background has helped you a lot in understanding this technology, right?
I didn't hear your question, sorry.
I'm saying that I'm sure that your background helped you understand a bit more about how cryptocurrencies work and the blockchain technologies and their importance.
Yes, I agree, but I think that the idea of decentralization doesn't really, if you want, apply to government rules and so on. And this is why, for me, I think XRP, as I told you, is like the perfect transition from where we are now to like the fully crypto and digital currencies. And for me, what I think is that whenever it reaches like $3, I'm gonna definitely sell my XRP and try to invest more into maybe Ether or a coin that has a really good project and that's more, if you want, future proof.
Yeah. If you think about it, Ethereum today is hosting many projects in the decentralized world. If I just go to CoinMarketCap, if you want to look at DeFi projects, 80 to 90% of them are hosted on the Ethereum blockchain, and they use ERC20, by the way, or even for NFTs, they use ERC 720, which is the protocol of sending smart contracts, specifically for NFTs. Okay. Remember when last time I tried to look for the specific token and I couldn't find it? I think it froze.
The TLM. Yeah.
I think now I can't open the page. Not because CoinMarketCap doesn't exist, but maybe it's an issue with caching. I can just try to cache. But anyway, I think it was a great talk today, and maybe for next time we can talk more about other interesting projects. Today was maybe more an overview about the top 3 and what's happening today.
Next time, more about the news that happened during the week and how they affected the market.
Definitely, yeah. I think next time we're going to talk more about those undervalued coins and those undervalued projects. Maybe we can like pick a few projects and talk about them and their potential and some price action.
Definitely.
Yeah,
here we go.
Yeah, great, man. It was nice talking to you, and thanks for joining in. And always a pleasure to have you on board, man, on Crypto Ticker's live stream. Till next time. Sure. Cheers, man. Take care.
Cheers. Bye-bye.